Hi everyone, I've been tagged to do this controversial parenting tag. I've been tagged by Gemma. I think I've said that right. Sorry if I haven't, Gemma. But yeah, she's another mummy vlogger from the UK. I'll put a channel info so you can go and check her out and subscribe if you want. She's lovely. So I'm just gonna have a go at this tag. A lot of the subjects I obviously know more about than others. Some I'm not very clued up about, but they are my own opinions, and you know, if you want to slate me for it, then that's entirely up to you. I just hope that people can, you know, well, you've got to try and appreciate other people's feelings. Obviously, I know some people get a bit hot-headed for things that they feel strongly about, but you know, this is just what I think. Pro-life versus pro-choice. Sometimes having a termination is like needed, I think. Certain situations, some people just don't want to have a baby. It does annoy me though when there's a person that's had like loads of terminations because they just keep on continuously falling pregnant. They just don't seem to take the right precautions and kind of use an abortion termination as a form of contraception. I think in that respect it's quite bad, but I think everyone should have a choice over what, you know, it's over what they want to do. Children, people that have been raped, and I don't know, I think there should be a choice in the matter. Baby wearing. I wore my baby once and that was when like we had to walk to the doctors and it was thick snow and Bobby was just about 7 months old and he was really heavy. You know, I'm not against it at all. I think it's lovely actually. I wish that I'd done it. I was going to do it, but I didn't really feel the need to be honest with you. I guess if Georgie was more of an unsettled baby than what he was, then yeah, I would have done it, because that's what I said. If he wants feeding it all the time and I've got stuff to do, then I'll baby wear. But, you know, this is something, I just think it's lovely. Circumcision. Well, I know over in the US, can't even say the word, circumcision is a hot topic, and from what I can gather over here it's more of a religion. That being said, I know a person that's circumcised. From what I can gather it was quite painful for him. It's often says to me, have you ever thought that the boys might need this doing? And all I can say is, over my dead body. What's the point? I just don't see what the point is if it's not necessary in getting it done, because the amount of pain and risk of infection and stuff that it leads to is just not nice. You know, I know I've been reading this morning that some families, dads especially, choose to get the kids circumcised as soon as they've been born, and I just think, it's a body part. It's like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right, basically. To me, it just doesn't seem right. Adoption. I think it's a lovely thing to do, especially for the person that is giving their baby up to be adopted, because they've got reasons that their life isn't going too good, or financially they're not stable, or mentally they're not stable, or they've got too much of a chaotic home life. By that I mean, you know, maybe it's, I don't know, a 17, 16-year-old that's living with the parents that are quite abusive towards him, I don't know, but for that person to give their baby up to somebody else, I think is a really selfless thing to do. And to be fair, you can't really slate someone for giving their baby up for adoption, because they're thinking about their baby and they're thinking this other person could offer him or her a much better life than what I can. And I think it is a very sensible thing to do, especially if the person can recognise that it's not an ideal situation. It's not ideal for their baby to be born into the situation that they're in, that their living conditions are, and everything else. Baby piercing. Okay, my mum got my ears pierced when I was, I don't know how old I was. I was young though. I was a baby stroke toddler, I think. I remember her telling me that she had to take me to get one ear pierced one day, and I screamed that much that I wouldn't get the other one done, and she had to take me back another day. I had the girls' ears pierced when they was 3. I think they were 3. They only had them in for a few months and then they decided to take them out. They wanted them done at the time. No, there weren't 3, there were 4. They wanted them done at the time and then they wanted to take them back out again. So they've had no earrings in since. Obviously they weren't babies, they were like 4, and you know, there's a big difference with that. I just think, in a way, I think if a baby's that young, then people do it for the cuteness factor of it all, don't they? But it does cause pain and there is chances of infection. A baby doesn't understand don't touch your ear, which is going to be tugging at them, must be tugging at their ear all the time. I don't know. I just think it's not necessary, and I'm sorry if any of you have got your kids' ears pierced. It's up to you. I'm not bothered. It's up to you completely what you do. I'm not going to slate you for it, but personally I think it's not wrong, just not necessary. Breast milk versus formula milk. I think you all pretty much know my feelings on this, as I just said in the last bit. I'm not going to slate anybody for formula feeding, but I do personally think that breastfeeding is best for the baby, at least if the parent just gives it a go, even if it's just for a couple of days. They've given it a go, haven't they? Co-sleeping. Okay, Georgie comes into our bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning. It's just easier than sitting in a bedroom, feeding him, and then I'll have to probably get up. It's just easier. I'm not a heavy sleeper, at all, in fact. And I probably co-sleeped with Frankie a lot more than what I did do with any of my others, because he wanted to be fed all the time, and I think it's brilliant for when you're breastfeeding. I really do, and I think it's brilliant for the mother and it's brilliant for the baby, and it also will stimulate your milk production throughout the night. I think if you're a breastfeeding parent, then you know co-sleeping is inevitable, really. Vaccinations. I think vaccinations are necessary. I know a lot of people think that they're not, because they cause a lot of problems with some children, not all, but just some. But to me, I feel that vaccinations are very important. I know there are risks with it, and I know there are certain things in vaccinations that are bad, but they are there, and they are there for a reason. And I just can't understand why any parent would want to put their child at risk of illnesses by not getting them vaccinated. I just don't understand it. Again, it's up to you what you want to do, and I'm sorry if some people's children have got problems from vaccinations, you know. I just couldn't imagine what that would be like. Really, I couldn't. But for me, I think vaccinations are necessary, and they're there for a reason. So, medicating children. I'm not too sure what this question means, to be honest with you. Is it kind of like, if your child's poorly, give them some Calpol, or is it more if they've got special needs, medicating them that way? A parent needs to do what a parent needs to do. If you need to medicate your child for whatever reason, then it needs to be done, doesn't it? I don't really know an awful lot about this, to be honest with you. Cloth diapering versus reusables. I use reusables. If I was in the know a little bit more when I had the girls or Frankie, then maybe I would have cloth diapered. I would have quite liked to have done Georgie, but I've got a lot of washing to do and not an awful lot of spare cash to even build up my diaper stash in the first place, to be honest with you. CIO Method, crying it out. I've tried to do this before with a couple of mine. Not with the girls, I've never had to with the girls, but I tried it with Frankie, Bobby. I haven't tried it with Georgie, and it's never worked for me, and I found it really, really upsetting. Obviously your child is crying for a reason, whether they're spoiled or whatnot, it doesn't matter, they're crying. How can you listen to your child just scream and scream and scream? I've suggested to friends to do it, they've not been able to do it. I've tried it and it didn't work, and I'm pretty sure from my own experiences, when children get to a certain age, not children, toddlers, then they get into their own little sleep pattern anyway, and everything settles down. Even if they've been a bad sleeper when they were babies, I feel personally that they get to the age of 1.5 to 2, and I don't know, something must just settle with them, because with Bobby and Frankie, they got to this age and they just started sleeping. So I'm not really all for the crying it out method. Spanking. I think over here it's called smacking a bit more than it is spanking. Personally, I feel that smacking your child for whatever reason, I think it's just going to make the situation worse, to be honest with you. I feel there is a big difference between smacking and tapping. I just don't think it gets you anywhere in the long run. So there you go. They are my opinions and my views. They probably don't make any sense to you. I have trouble getting my words out at the best of times, and today is one of them days. But yeah, they're just my opinions and views. So I've not decided who I'm going to tag in this yet, but I will post who I'm going to tag in the box below, in the description box. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you later.